Febreze.
Fabric Talk.
Hello, my love. I am your living room carpet. I see everything. I feel everything. After a while, I smell like everything, including Sir Pickles, who you snuggle with while binging that dating show you can't stop watching. So, how about we freshen things up with Febreze Fabric Spray? Ooh, and a big spray for my pals, couch and ottoman. Ah, yes, refreshing. Breathe happy, Febreze. La, 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 la.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screams. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatic Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Home of the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig.
Let's go!
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Let's go!
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort studio, here's Josh Hennig.
What a win by the Eagles. Their first win on the road in Cincinnati all time. And boy, you heard it right here on 97.3 ESPN. We got a lot to get to here on the Power Hour known as Game Night. I want to hear from you guys. How are you feeling? Eagles' third straight win, 3 straight wins coming out of the bye week. What do you guys think? Text in 609-403-0973, because when you guys message in the text board, when you DM on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank in Seattle, or when I met some of you guys over at Lascaux Beach House and Breeting yesterday with the locker room and Billy Schwein, great event with Vince Papale. Great to see everybody come out for the event. There was one vibe going into the game, and I think there's another vibe coming out of the game. There was timid optimism about the Birds going into the game. And when I saw people like George from Galloway and Jeff from Ocean City, when I saw you guys, I think there was a feeling of, hey, the Eagles can win this game. But coming out of the game yesterday, I think that there's a different attitude. Because Philadelphia went into that game unsure about T. Higgins' status. We weren't 100% sure what was going on with him. Philadelphia on the road, they've been a very good team on the road, by the way. They have the second best winning percentage in the NFL on the road under Nick Sirianni as head coach after yesterday's game. Philadelphia 21-9 on the road. They are also 13-1 now in the last 14 games against the AFC. The Eagles have played very well under Nick Sirianni recently. Because when I heard Chris Long bring this up on the Greenlight podcast, I had to sit back and think a little bit, because for as much as we all have criticized the Eagles, and I can sit here and spend the next 20 minutes complaining about they run the tush push too much, right? You know, too much Philly special. But maybe we need to start looking at this team and complimenting them for not just winning the game yesterday, but this is now 2 straight games where they have pulled away at the end of the game.
Nick Sirianni having his team ready to play, whatever he said to them at the half, good on him coming out. He had a good challenge he threw. You know, Nick was Johnny on the spot in a couple moments today, and I think, like, whether he just stayed out of the script a little bit more this week, good on him.
Good on him is right. Nick Sirianni has turned whatever happened on the sideline a couple weeks ago after the Browns game into a net positive, winning 2 straight games. I think that we all walked out of the Eagles game over the Browns and looked at it as, well, I like to talk about the win, but the coach ruined it for all of us. To now, the coach has been a part of them winning. Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you want to paint the game. The Bengals – came out and they were on a mission. After the first quarter, the Bengals only scored 10 points the rest of the game. Philadelphia outscored the Bengals 27-7 in the second half. The Eagles' defense now, since their bye week, the last 3 games, they have allowed the fewest points in the NFL. So maybe we need to look at the coaching and say, hey, Sirianni, Kellen Moore, Vic Fangio, good job, boys. Hat tip to you. Because I don't think this team is in the position they are right now if the coaches were not doing their jobs. Look, I don't think it's an accident that all of a sudden Jalen Hurts recorded his 3rd career regular season game with 3 rushing touchdowns. It is not a coincidence that the Eagles are now averaging 28.3 points per game since the bye week. Before the bye week, they were averaging 21.5. That means they are averaging a touchdown and an extra point more since the bye week than before. Since the bye week, they are allowed the fewest points in the NFL, 29. Now, yes, it was against Deshaun Watson and the Browns. And yes, it was against the Giants. But the people who say that are also the people who would complain if they barely beat the Giants or if they lost to the Browns. Yesterday was a culmination of this team is gaining momentum. Booger McFarland on NFL Countdown on ESPN Plus said this.
The last 2 weeks have been absolutely a perfect example of what you want. A physical offensive line, the offense running through Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Hurts using his legs. They don't need to throw the football more than 20, 25 times a game. This is a physical football team. The strength of the team is their offensive line, which unlocks A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Notice, run the ball, we can hit the Slim Reaper over the top. This is how they have to play.
This is how they have to play. You heard that from Booger McFarland. The man is a Super Bowl champion, played in the NFL for years. He knows a good football team when he sees it, okay? I don't think it's a coincidence that Philadelphia is now 15-1 when they run the ball more than they throw it. And it's not just because they're running the ball, okay? Don't get it twisted, all right? It's because they're putting themselves in a position to grab the lead and then run the game out. And then on defense, do we really think it's a coincidence that since Cooper DeJean has become the starting nickel corner coming out of the bye week, that the Eagles' defense has gotten better? Chris Long from the Greenlight Podcast.
Cooper DeJean, who everything seems to have changed since they inserted him into the lineup, making an incredible play. I always say the play starts when the motion starts. You got Jamar Chase one-on-one in a 4th down situation in a game where if you get a stop, it flips the thing completely. And DeJean, it was like he's covering a pivot route before the play even starts. And then he's knifing to the flat and a very short tackle. This kid's going to be very good for the Eagles.
609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. We'll talk to Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press coming up in about 11 minutes from now. But first, let's start with Jeff from Ocean City. You must have heard his ears burning because I mentioned his name earlier. He says, hey, Josh, I'm encouraged that our young defensive players in the Eagles are trending upwards. Also, a great time out Brigantine, seeing you guys yesterday. Well, we appreciate you, Jeff, joining us. You know, you're right. They are trending upward. We are seeing week by week Nolan Smith play better, Nakobe Dean play better, Jalen Carter having impacts on the game. And, you know, I want to push back on this narrative that Philadelphia was not getting a pass rush against Joe Burrow. They still had 5 quarterback hits yesterday, all right? And the Bengals, they do a great job at letting Joe Burrow be Joe Burrow. And what I mean by that is, you look back in the day, what made Tom Brady and Peyton Manning great quarterbacks was not just because of their intelligence and their proficiency with the football and their ability to read defenses. It was also their ability to move in the pocket. I thought Joe Burrow had about 2 or 3 moments in the game yesterday where if he was any other quarterback, he would have been sacked. If that was Sam Darnold, right? If that was Baker Mayfield, if that was Kirk Cousins, they would have been sacked. But Joe Burrow has this strange ability to like Houdini his way out of situations when he's not even the most athletic quarterback in the world after his multiple knee and leg injuries. So I think that them getting 5 quarterback hits was still a good sign for the Eagles defense. And Jeff, you mentioned the young players. Darius Slay goes down. Isaiah Rodgers comes in. If Rodgers doesn't tip that ball, if Cooper DeJean doesn't have that 4th down tackle, if Quinyon Mitchell only allows 2 targets the entire game that he's playing defense, they probably lose that game. They probably lose that game. Brandon from Dennisville chimes in at 609-403-0973. He says, Josh, it's a great win by the Eagles, but the 3rd down defense is still atrocious. Giving up 3rd and 22 is bonkers. I think we win the division, but things like this on top of our painfully slow starts on offense will kill us in the postseason. You know, it's interesting because you mentioned about the 3rd downs. The 3rd down defense, I think there's 2 different issues with that, Brandon. Number one, I think the problem with the 3rd down defense is the reality that Philadelphia sometimes gets a little too passive-aggressive on defense. And it's this Fangio scheme. You saw it with John Gannon when he was running it in 21 and 22, and you're seeing it manifest itself again this year. These coaches who... I'm trying to be selective how I say this. Because, all right, here's how I want to say it. So I remember I spoke with Paul Gunther. Paul Gunther is now the linebackers coach for the Dallas Cowboys. He's the former defensive coordinator for the Bengals and the Raiders. All right. And I had him on earlier this year leading up to the Super Bowl. And one of the points that he mentioned when we talked to him was defensive coordinators constantly are having the balance between being aggressive and being so aggressive it burns you. And I think the problem is that Fangio is still figuring out how aggressive he can be and still let his players make up for, shall we call it, that over-aggressiveness. Like, you can't be too blitz happy, or then what happens is it becomes a negative against you, right? You could blitz too much, and then the quarterback pick you apart like Baker Mayfield did in Tampa. So I think that's part of the 3rd down defensive issue. Now, Brandon and Dennisville, if you want to say that, hey, you paid Bryce Huff all this money, he needs to get on the field and make a more consistent impact, I can certainly roll with you on that. I think that the Eagles, their pass rush personnel is just not at the level that it needs to be for them to be a consistently winning football team. And I think that is a big part of this conversation as well. All right. More your text messages coming up a little bit later in the hour, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging out with you on a Monday night. Coming up next, Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press will dig deeper into the Eagles, win over the Bengals, and the state of the NFL after Week 8 Sunday games. What a wild slate of games it was yesterday. All that and more here on 973 ESPN. Josh Hennig in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios, hanging out with you on a Monday night.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles host the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 9 of the 2024 season, Sunday afternoon.
And he's brought down for a loss.
like a gene.
What a play by the rookie.
Listen to all the action with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick with pregame coverage starting at 3 p.m. and kickoff at 4 p.m. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles, 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Prices are tumbling down during the Fall Into Savings event at Boardwalk Honda. Get fantastic fall pricing on our entire lineup of new Hondas. Right now, lease a new 2024 Honda Prologue for only $189 a month. Or lease a new 2025 Honda CR-V LX for just $269 a month. Both for 36 months. And remember, from Maine to Miami, nobody beats a Boardwalk deal. Visit HondaBoardwalk.com for low lease payments. Toll free at 484-246-6754 for more details.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit FVGradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay in Cancun at a luxury resort, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. We're giving away 5 days and 4 night stays to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-951-6541. 800-951-6541. You may also be eligible for an exciting bonus vacation in Orlando, Florida for just $398. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your stay up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and you get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation in Orlando for just $398. What are you waiting for? Call 800-951-6541. Again, 800-951-6541 and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest or sweepstakes and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by or affiliated with the station or program.
Halloween's coming alive at Target. Jackie and Gordy, the Jack-O-Lanterns, here with last chance Halloween deals. Looks like Mom's got the old pumpkin bucket stocked with the best candy, starting at $5.99.
Lucky pumpkin bucket. Oh, there's Dad party planning with a same-day delivery order.
Yes, it's a BOGO 50% off pizza party with Target Circle. Plus, buy 3, save 40% on soda 12 packs. Get Target Circle.
Nice saves, Dad.
Make your Halloween come alive at Target. Need it last minute? Get same-day delivery with Target Circle 360. Restrictions apply.
Flo here from Progressive to tell you how you get more than great savings with us. You get customer service access through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
That's a lot of ways I can get in touch with you. I see what's going on here. You can't name favorites, but I'm your #1 customer.
Actually, we offer all our customers these ways to contact us.
I'm sure you give just any customer your personal
company
contact info.
Well, you did call us more than any other customer this year. So in that sense, you are our #1 customer.
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code COMFORT at checkout. That's harrys.com, code COMFORT. Enjoy!
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. NBA, the Sixers defeated the Indiana Pacers Sunday 118-114 in overtime. It was their first victory of the season. Tyrese Maxey, 45 points. Eric Gordon had 15 off the bench. Philadelphia back in action Wednesday hosting the Detroit Pistons. The Eagles beat Cincinnati 37-17 Sunday. Now have won 3 in a row as they raised their record to 5-2. They scored 20 unanswered points after the Bengals had tied the game at 17 in the third quarter. Jalen Hurts, 236 yards passing with a touchdown and ran for 3 scores. Saquon Barkley Barkley had 108 yards rushing. Devontae Smith a touchdown catch. NHL, the Flyers return to the ice Tuesday in Boston to take on the Bruins, a one-game trip for Philadelphia, who return home on Thursday while they'll face the St. Louis Blues. Philadelphia has lost 6 of their last 7 games. Game 3 of the World Series tonight in New York, Yankees and Dodgers, Clark Schmidt going up against Walker Buehler. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
New Jersey, this is Lieutenant Governor Tahisha Way. Vote in person on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th, or early in person starting Saturday, October 26th, or vote by mail. Details at vote.nj.gov.
From the Towns for New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. Get ready for a warm-up. In fact, the warmest day of the week looks like Halloween, Thursday. I'm not sure if that'll be a trick or a treat, but temperatures will flirt with 80 degrees. We'll see a few clouds tonight. It'll be chilly, jacket weather, but not quite as cold as last night, low 46. Partly sunny tomorrow, high 64. Sun and clouds and 75 Wednesday, 78 Thursday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
When things are just too hard and you need someone to listen, 988 is here. Call, text, or chat 24/7. We are here for you. 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Call 988. A message from New Jersey Human Services.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
We'll check back in on text board in just a bit at 609-403-0973 in your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. But as promised, joining us right now to recap the Eagles win over the Bengals and Sunday NFL Week 8. Can you believe it's already Week 8 in the NFL? Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press here on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, welcome in. How you doing today?
What's going on, Josh? How are you?
I'm doing well, and I think a lot of Eagle fans, they're doing well also, Rob, in part because I think we thought the Eagles might win the game. I don't think anyone thought they were going to outscore the Bengals 27-7 in the second half of that game yesterday, Rob.
Yeah, I had it as an upset special, like 24-23, Josh. I thought it was going to be a close game. I didn't expect the Eagles to win and dominate the way they did, which is certainly a reason for Eagles fans to be excited right now because this team is a whole lot better than a lot of people gave them credit for. I never jumped off the bandwagon. I felt confident about them early in the season as my Super Bowl pick, kind of backed off a little bit on the confidence level 4 games into the season and after they lost to Tampa Bay. But they've come back, and they've come back well from this bye. They obviously are getting better and better. The win over Cleveland was certainly a step in the right direction. Routing the Giants was another major step. And now I think the final piece to their comeback story is beating the Bengals and dominating the Bengals, which they did. Now, I think all that does right now is solidify them as, to me, the second best team in the NFC right now. I know the standings say that Washington's ahead of them, but I still think they're the second best team behind the Lions. And here's the great part about it, Josh. They haven't played to their ceiling yet. I think they're still going to get better. I still think there's room for improvement across the board. So there's a lot to be excited about if you're an Eagles fan.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned about what their ceiling is. I think that's part of the conversation that needs to be had, Rob, which is, you know, this is a team that realistically, they were injured at points earlier this year, right?
Yeah.
And they were averaging 21.5 points heading into the bye week. They come out of the bye week with at least their star players, right? The A.J. Browns, the Devonta Smith. Now Dallas Goedert goes down, but they're still averaging a touchdown more in the last 3 games than in the first 4 games. So, and they're doing it, Rob, 2 offensive linemen down. No Dallas Goedert. So, I mean, did we underestimate the importance of Brown and Saquon and Hurts together?
I don't think anyone should have underestimated that importance because clearly Jalen Hurts is a better football player and a better quarterback when he's got his full complement of players. And when those players are A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, his game's at another level. Now, Dallas Goedert didn't make a contribution yesterday. He unknotted Jalen's cleat with his teeth on the sideline. Although Jalen didn't put it on right away, he went with the other one. But I was like, is that Dallas Goedert really? Like, he's chewing on the cleat. Like, way to go, Dallas. But this is a team that when all guys are healthy, and as you mentioned, they're still down some guys on the offensive line. And when I saw Lane Johnson go out for was it a play, maybe two plays, but that was pretty scary because we know how important Lane Johnson is to this offensive line. I was like, here we go again. But when they have their full complement of players, they can really operate.
Well, Rob Maaddi just froze on us, and I got a feeling that what happened. Rob, you froze
we're
there
not
for a
even,
minute.
I'm sorry. We're not even halfway through the season with the new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and a new defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. Like, we're not even halfway there. And I think as they get more familiarity with the new coordinators, as they get more comfortable doing what they're supposed to do, is Kellen Moore can figure out more of how to use the guys effectively and how to be more creative and all. There's room for improvement. And the cool thing is the schedule is going to allow them to get better, to do some of those, that learn on the job against inferior opponents.
By the way, I feel pretty confident saying, Rob, that the reason why you buffered there for a minute was because you probably just pulled into the driveway of your house, right?
I am, yeah.
Which means your phone is probably trying to transition from your regular cell signal to the house Wi-Fi.
Look, see, this is production expertise back there. Am I better off going? Am I better off going off the home Wi-Fi?
Well, at this point, I don't think it matters because you're probably on it now.
Okay, all right.
Rob Maaddi joining us from his driveway here on 97.3 ESPN. By the way, you mentioned the offensive line. How much – I heard Chris Long bring this up, Rob. You know, Fred Johnson was in Cincinnati for years. Do you think Fred Johnson might have helped a little bit with that preparation for how to slow down Trey Hendrickson?
He didn't help when they played the Buccaneers because he was in Tampa too, so that didn't help. But maybe I hear that all the time. Like when guys are familiar with a different opponent, like it goes both ways. It can help one. It can help the opponent. It can help the both sides of the equation. Like you both are familiar with each other. I don't know, but they did a fantastic job against Hendrickson. Like kudos to Fred Johnson, kudos to Lane, kudos to the entire offensive line. Like there was one play where Cam Jurgens kind of did a Kelsey, man, and he was way out in front. Was it on Barkley or was it Jalen? I think it was Saquon. Like I was at the Bucs game watching the Eagles and listening to the Eagles while I was at the Bucs game watching 5 other games at the same time. So I may have missed who it was, but like I was impressed all around by this team. And after the first series, when Joe Burrow drives them down, it's like 10 minutes. You're like, here we go. Vic Fangio's defense is now facing a real quarterback. And it's not like the last 2 weeks, Deshaun Watson and Daniel Jones. And they finally gave up a touchdown for the first time in a calendar month. But they stepped it up after that, and credit to Vic, credit to that team. Got a couple turnovers, should have had another one. Was it not who Cooper DeJean dropped what should have been an interception, but they certainly won the turnover battle 3 games in a row now. No turnovers for Jalen Hurts. I think he's finally got it. He's back to. He's not quite there yet, but he's close to 2022 form.
Well, I'll get to Joe in a minute, but speaking of the defense, the Eagles' defense in the last 3 games has allowed the fewest points in the NFL, only 29 points. And people were saying before, Rob, well, it's Deshaun Watson. Well, it's the Giants. You just did it to Joe Burrow in a place where you've never won before in the Eagles franchise history. You went to the jungle. And I had a friend of mine who was at the game yesterday, and she confirmed, Rob, Bengal fans were leaving in the fourth quarter before the game was even over. Like the Eagles shut down the hopes of the Bengal fans yesterday.
Wow. And Eagles fans we know travel very well. Saw a lot of green out there, but by the fourth quarter, that game was really over anyway. I don't know what the traffic situation's like in Cincinnati. I certainly probably would have wanted to get out of there too if I was a Bengals fan, because that was their opportunity to get to 500 after a terrible start, and here they are at 3-5 now. The good thing for them, or the good news for them, is Baltimore losing to Cleveland, and now they got to root for Daniel Jones and the Giants if they want to somehow stay in the race. It's there's a lot of jumbled teams in the AFC, and a lot of teams who like the Jets, who were 2-6 where you thought they'd be a contender, and the Bengals 3-5. So I wouldn't rule out anything. They know how to come back from adversity and have a strong second half, but Eagles took their heart. They went in there, they controlled the game and played well in every phase. And right now, like, things got to be. I don't know what Eagles fans can nitpick at this point, because they notoriously do. Nick Sirianni behaved himself. He didn't do anything yesterday, Josh. At least I didn't see anything. I didn't see Nick do anything that's going to warrant people wanting to fire him this week, because it's like a fire Nick on a week-to-week basis. I think nobody's telling him to grow up or mature or do anything else, because everybody's so perfect and nobody makes mistakes. But anyway, I think this could be a positive Eagles week leading into a game against the Jaguars that, unfortunately for Dougie P, like, the Eagles fired him, and they could contribute to Jacksonville firing him, if that's going to go that direction for Doug Peterson. And he's finding himself at 2-6, very very close to 2. I haven't seen the line. I didn't look at the opening line yet. Is it close to 9 or 10?
I'll pull it up now as we speak, but I'll let you know. I think Sirianni, I think him challenging that play yesterday was an incredible job of, hey, I'm the CEO head coach. I saw something. I'm going to be proactive and get this thing overturned. So I think, yesterday was an example, Rob, of a head coach being like, hey, I see something. I'm going to jump on it.
Was that the play where Darius Slay was telling them to challenge, the obvious one?
Yep.
Yeah, that was, yeah. I was like, I certainly hope you do here, especially when you have Slate saw it. Mitchell was right there. It looked like he saw it too, and that was a great use of challenge. I also liked just the way Nick kind of was handling everything on the sideline. I saw him talking to a few guys at a couple different moments of the game. Yeah, can't read the lips, don't know what he was saying, but it just looked like these guys seemed to rally around him. I kind of feel like the heat that Sirianni got a couple of weeks back may have helped bring this team together a little bit. We never heard Jalen support him as much as he did coming out of that bye. So as much as people want to look at Nick as a goof or whatever they call him, he gets this team to play. He's got the third best winning percentage among active head coaches. He's just surpassed Tony Dungy and is tied with Hall of Famer Paul Brown for the 12th best winning percentage in NFL history. So at some point, we might want to back off and give him some credit.
He also has the second best road winning percentage in the NFL since he became the head coach of the Eagles. The only guy ahead of him is some guy named Andy Reid. You might have heard of him.
Some guy with 3 Super Bowl rings who, for all his accolades, doesn't have a better winning percentage than Nick Sirianni in the regular season. But I think you'll take percentage points behind in 3 rings. I think anybody will take that.
Yeah, it's not bad. And by the way, ever since Jalen Hurts said that him and Sirianni are in harmony now, Jalen Hurts in the last 3 games has a completion percentage of 71.9%, no turnovers, and 9 total touchdowns. So, whatever in harmony means, Rob, keep it up, right?
Yeah, and his passer rating in each of those games has been at least 119, and that's the first time in his career he's had 3 consecutive games 115 or above. Even back in 2022, he didn't have 3 in a row where he was 115 and above. He's had numerous times where he's had 3 straight 100 plus. passer rating games, but he's at a different level right now. 115 plus, 3 straight games, 71%, as you said, completion over that span, no turnovers, making the right plays, making the right reads. And I still see some plays where you go, maybe he should have went this way, or maybe he should have went that way, and then he comes back and makes another play. Running the ball, it seems like he's running the ball a little bit more effectively when there's some openings, as opposed to a little bit earlier in the season he was indecisive. So that's good to see. Maybe it took Jalen a little bit of working with Saquon Barkley on some of those RPOs, right? A little bit of figuring things out. It took a little, and of course they didn't play together in the preseason because no starters are playing in the preseason. So I'm gonna chalk up a little bit of September to it being preseason for this team, them still feeling their way, figuring things out, and they I'm comfortable where they are right now. I know it took a miracle for Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders to stay in first place in the NFC East, but I think it's just a matter of time. I didn't see the Eagles are playing Washington coming up in a couple of weeks on a Thursday night game. Yeah, Thursday night, November 14th. So a couple games to go before then, but that'll be a nice matchup for first place, and I think that's when the Eagles will surpass them if they haven't already by that point. Surpass them and never look back.
Rob Maaddi from the Associated Press leading me right into my next point I wanted to ask him about here on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, a couple more before I let you go. You brought up Jaden Daniels, and I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody, but this young man went out there, banged up ribs, got him rewrapped during the game, throws a game-winning touchdown, and it's like this perfect parallel universe to what happened in Indianapolis, where Anthony Richardson taps out for 2 plays of the game. And I was saying on social media, Rob, and I'll say it again here with you, we got to stop prioritizing talent over character. Because I think Jaden Daniels showed you he's all about winning, and Anthony Richardson's got some maturing to do.
Anthony Richardson didn't play as many games too, right? He didn't have the experience. Jaden Daniels is a guy who had a ton of starts in college, 2 different universities, won a Heisman Trophy. He's older. He's certainly mature. He's certainly a different part of his journey. I believe, no matter who you are, I think as a person, you break life into chapters, and I don't think Anthony Richardson is there yet. I was never sold completely on Richardson's abilities to be able to step in and be a franchise quarterback. Love his raw talent, still is in a developmental stage and phase. I like Jaden Daniels a little bit more even than Caleb Williams coming out. And it's almost like it's very similar to last year, like C.J. Stroud more than Bryce Young. Now those two completely different success in the NFL. Like Bryce Young is struggling, plays finally yesterday. We don't know what his future looks like. At least Caleb Williams looks like a capable and beyond capable. He looks like a guy who could be a franchise quarterback, but Jaden Daniels certainly only 8 games in is there already, and ribs injury, uncertain status, takes all of that, and he comes in there, and up until that point of the Hail Mary, it looked like it was going to be a very disappointing defeat. They were leading for most of the game, and Caleb Williams helps lead the Bears back, but what a tremendous play, man. What was it, 12.7 seconds? I'm watching that. I already chalked it up as a win because I picked the Bears to win and cover on Wednesday before I knew Jaden Daniels was going to play. And next thing you know, they convert an incredible Hail Mary, seeing Zach Ertz in the middle of that and tapping it up. I forget who the corner was who was over there taunting the fans and doing all that thing. And that was certainly a learning experience. And certainly I know he apologized for that today and took ownership. But Jaden Daniels, to me, man, is a guy. Saw him at the draft. I said, I got a feeling that you're going to be the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he's certainly the favorite right now.
Jaden Daniels was my preseason pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year. here on
Right now,
97.3.
he might warrant MVP consideration. Like if you look at, I don't know what going into this weekend, for whatever reason, Mahomes was in the top two, and Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson obviously belonged there. But I think after this weekend, you got to look at certainly Goff. Though he only threw for 8. Lamar takes a little bit of a backward step in that. I think Josh Allen takes a step forward, but I think Jaden Daniels ought to be right now in that conversation midway through the year for MVP.
I'm looking at a sports book right now. Jaden Daniels is currently 6 in the betting odds.
Who are the 5 ahead of him?
Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are tied at 1.
Okay.
Mahomes is right behind them with Jared Goff.
Huh.
And then Jalen Hurts is just ahead of Jaden Daniels in the odds.
But when you look at what the term most valuable means, the Washington Commanders were Drek before Jaden Daniels. They're 6-2 with him. Like I don't know. I don't know how the sports books put together their maybe they want to do a little bit of forecasting over the course of the season. Say he's not going to continue that. Maybe I don't know how they do that, but I think right now, after 8 games, I would have him higher than Jalen, higher than Patrick Mahomes, and right there with Josh Allen, and slightly ahead of Lamar too at this point.
I mean, since I am not an AP MVP voter, Rob, I can say, unlike Dan Orlovsky, who my finalist would be, and that would be, for me, it would be Josh Allen, Jared Goff, and Jaden Daniels. That would be my 3.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. But we're having this conversation through 8 games, through 7 for some teams and 8 through other teams, and obviously it's gonna fluctuate week to week. It's gonna change week to week. But for Jaden Daniels to even come in and be worthy of this conversation and this consideration right now is just an absolute testament to what a tremendous talent he is, and what a mature leader and guy who's able to just step right in. Oh, and by the way, Josh, you may not have been wanting to bring up Jameis Winston today, but man,
that was my final thing for you. I was going to get to that.
What a unwavering faith, ultimate belief, dependence on the Lord. That's going to be my answer to everything from here on. Now, Jameis, you go, man. I loved it. More yards per Deshaun in any game this year. More points than any game Deshaun Watson led them to. Maybe it was just a quarterback. Stefanski's a heck of a coach when he's got Joe Flacco or even Baker Mayfield. It's just that when he's got Deshaun Watson, can't really win some games. Maybe it's just the quarterback.
Rob, that was my final thing for you was Jameis, because I have a buddy of mine. He covers the Cleveland Browns, and him and I have talked about how the guys in the Cleveland locker room love Jameis. Like, the dudes in Cleveland love this guy. And people make fun of him. He's eating the W and all the weird antics in Tampa. But I think Jameis at 30 years old, we might be potentially seeing the best version of Jameis, because people forget he spent a few years in New Orleans hanging out with that Sean Payton guy. And if you have a guy, I spent time with Bruce Arians, I spent time with Sean Payton, now I got Kevin Stefanski, I'm 30 years old, I'm leaning into a more mature era of my life. I wouldn't be surprised if Jameis Winston says, give me the ball, coach. And I mean, Rob, I don't know how you feel about this. He might be, I'm not trying to project too much, comeback player of the year?
He's certainly a guy who I think should be a starting quarterback. Like, you look around the NFL, Josh, 32 quarterbacks better than Jameis Winston right now. And you're right, mature. He's come a long way, certainly. And I think we all do. I think we all get wiser with age. And he seems to have figured some things out. He's had off-field issues in the past. He's been with various coaches. Even his last year in Tampa Bay with Bruce Arians, that was Bruce's first year. He threw for over 5,000 yards, but at the same time, he also had 30-plus touchdowns and 30-plus interceptions. I think, like you said, learned a little bit from Sean Payton, getting a little bit like I think Stefanski, who's a two-time coach of the year, is a good coach who can help him, benefit him. I don't know what the Browns want to do in the future because of that contract with Deshaun Watson, but Jameis Winston somewhere has to get an opportunity to be a full-time starter, and he could be a Jared Goff, a guy whose next opportunity is his chance, and he shines. Like you said, players seem to love this guy, rally around him. He's had some goofy things, right? Like I still don't understand the eating the W. That was pretty funny to me. He did explain it at some point, and I still didn't understand the explanation. But I'll take his interviews yesterday any day of the week. Forget eating W's. Just keep giving me that unwavering faith and the ultimate belief. And whoever the sideline reporter was, credit to her. She was like, "Well, you seem really focused right now," and she didn't do what some other networks might do and just like not air that interview. So well done on both sides. But I'd love to see what Jameis can do in the right environment and the right setting, and maybe that's Cleveland. He'll get their opportunity the rest of the year. It was silly today. I saw people posting like, Jameis Winston's effort yesterday earned him another shot to be the starter this week. Like, was that a question? Why would you even doubt that he would be the starter this week? Oh, the Cleveland Browns are like this quarterback factory that all of a sudden they got to potentially start someone else. Like, you got to be kidding me. Of course he's the starter this week.
I mean, whoever said that's just an idiot. I mean, just the talent alone, the gap between Jameis Winston and DTR is just like the Grand Canyon, for goodness sake.
I mean, seriously, it was like a beat reporter from the Browns. Like, Jameis Winston's going to be this. Is there another? I'm like, what? Seriously? Is there a question? Like, come on. You need clicks that bad today? Please.
Someone does. That's a clickbait article right there. Well, listen, I'll leave it to you, Rob. You can contact Jameis, and you guys can make T-shirts from what he said yesterday. Okay?
Oh man, I have to get him on Faith on the Field. Like, I absolutely have to get him on it. Now it's I made my wife listen to that interview, and she's like laughing, going, "I love this guy. I don't even know who he is. I love this guy." I'm like, see, all right. She's like, "You got to get him on." I'm like, "I'll get him. I'll make it happen."
If your wife says you got to have him on, you got to have him on, right, Rob? I mean,
absolutely. You know, my wife's got to call all the shots at this point. That's for sure.
Faith on the Field, Saturday and Sunday mornings, by the way, right here on 97.3 ESPN. He is Rob Maaddi, AP senior NFL writer at Rob Maaddi on the Twitter X platform, and he joined us here on 97.3 ESPN. Rob, I appreciate you taking the time, sitting in the car for this conversation. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, brother. Keep up the great work.
Rob Maaddi, always great stuff from him here on 97.3 ESPN. Hey, man, listen, I don't care what belief you have. T-shirts are T-shirts, man. Anytime somebody says anything that's of any significance, you got to turn it into a T-shirt. I'm just saying, somebody somewhere, if you're smart, you take Jameis Winston, you put his face on a T-shirt, you put what he said yesterday, you're going to make money off of it. I guarantee you, it's the world we live in. You make money off of T-shirts. Or rev up the power hour known as Game Night here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig live in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios, hanging out with you. And don't forget, not Monday Night Football tonight. World Series Game 3 coming up at the top of the hour. Coverage begins here on 97.3 ESPN.
Game 3 of the World Series on ESPN Radio. Take care of business at home, winning games 1 and 2. Now the series shifts to New York. Game 3 of the Yankees and Dodgers. Coverage begins today at 7 Eastern, with first pitch at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Listen to the World Series Game 3 tonight on 97.3 ESPN.
Brought to you by Shore Physicians Group. Be well connected. Visit shorephysiciansgroup.com.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. Make a selection from our seasonal food menu, then unwind with one of our sensational cocktails. The South Philly Sizzle, made with Bird Gang Habanero Tequila. Stateside pumpkin pie featuring stateside vodka, rum chata, and pumpkin puree. Delicious fiery sangria, tasty spiced apple punch, or the Campfire Mule at participating locations for a limited time. The official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. We're teaming up with Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown for a new wing flavor this football season. A.J. Brown's Sweet Heat Wings. We combine the sweet and spicy flavors AJ loves, plus a portion of the proceeds benefit the AJ Brown Foundation, and it's focused on empowering underprivileged youth. At participating locations for a limited time, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Getting ready for more rain and longer nights? We've got you. Right now, you can earn up to $25 in bonus rewards when you buy 2 Sylvania Silver Star Ultra bulbs and 2 Rain-X Quantum Elite wiper blades. More rewards and better visibility at America's #1 lighting destination, AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Offer valid for AutoZone Rewards members. Restrictions apply.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you gotta hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
With GMF financing, the qualified buyers excludes Traverse and Corvette excludes prior sales. Need a car, truck, or SUV? Great! Get to Bennett Chevy, where you're going to get Bennett's best offers ever. You know Bennett sells new Chevys at the true GM supplier employee price, right? Well, right now, Bennett Chevrolet says, how'd you like to buy your new Chevy and pay $500 below the GM supplier employee price? Yes, $500 less than our employees. Plus, you keep all the rebates. That's up to 15% off the sticker. And with available 0% financing, you'll have incredibly low payments. And if you've got an old car to trade, right now you'll get a minimum $10,000 towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least $10,000 for total junk. Imagine how much we'll pay for good trades. And wait till you experience Bennett's non-commissioned sales team. Paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend, so they'll make getting all these unbelievable deals even better. Together, let's drive Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect, please? 'Cause I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Don't get left in the dark. Calvi Electric, a certified Generac dealer, has you covered. From installation to maintenance, they're your go-to experts for Generac generators, ensuring your home stays powered through any storm. A Generac home standby generator will automatically restore power to your home during an outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Put your trust in Calvi Electric, the premier electrical contractor serving South Jersey for over 115 years. Visit calvielectric.com today or call 609-345-0151.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screams. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatics Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All right, wrapping up the Power Hour known as Game Night. I just want to follow up by saying this. You know, I mentioned in passing the Rob Maaddi, and I want to say it again. There are a lot of people in sports, whether they are people who run professional organizations or they are somebody who just watches college football. Stop evaluating quarterbacks based on their potential. I don't give two you-know-whats about their potential. Because at the end of the day, all we should care about is winning. So if you want to win, with your football team, win championships, to win games, I don't care how good your quarterback's arm is. I don't care his 40 time. I don't care his vertical leap. Does he have the maturity and the ability to win? Jaden Daniels does. Anthony Richardson doesn't. And that's the bottom line.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. with Unsportsmanlike on 97.3 ESPN with Evan Cohen, Super Bowl champion Chris.
If those of you watching still on my YouTube channel, at Josh Hennig, like, subscribe, share with your friends. I just want to continue on that point really quick because I really feel very passionately about this. It is no small thing to require and want the leader of an organization, whether it is a multi-billion-dollar business, whether it is your football team, whether it is a small business, whatever it is, the people who are the managers, the people who are running and directing traffic and leading the people in any environment, their talent is irrelevant if that ability doesn't translate into success in any area of life. The saying, hard work beats talent every time talent doesn't work hard. It means something, okay? It's the people who are in it and they're fighting tooth and nail for success. I want those people on my team in any area of life because it's the people who don't understand the value, okay? The value of what it takes to be successful and what it means to fail, what it means to have to raise yourself back up, how to have to endure difficult circumstances. Jaden Daniels showed yesterday that realistically he probably shouldn't have been playing yesterday. And he got hurt during the game again. And they rewrapped his ribs to hold him in place. They reset the padding and the protection around him to make sure he could go out there and play football. On the flip side, Anthony Richardson was too tired to play football. Too tired? Based on what? And that's the problem. I don't care how talented Anthony Richardson is. I don't care how gifted he is. I don't care if he has potential to be the greatest quarterback of all time. That potential means nothing if he is not able to translate that into success. Anthony Richardson doesn't have it. Now, maybe he's like Jameis Winston, as me and Rob Maaddi talked about earlier. Maybe he is somebody who is just too young to be given this responsibility. But You look at the young men who have had time to sit and develop as human beings before they are asked to be the leaders of an organization, a team. It's like anywhere in business. You don't put a guy through all of that internship, all of that professional development, and then don't give him the job. No, you're putting him through all that development so he can eventually be the leader, be the one at the top of the organization directing traffic. You don't give a young man who's not ready for it that job. You would never do it on Wall Street. You would never do it at a car factory. You would never do it at a law firm. You would do it nowhere else but the NFL. So, yeah, I will continue to be hypercritical of quarterbacks like Anthony Richardson because it's obvious they're not ready. It's obvious they are not prepared for the moment. And it's not just an age thing. Look at Deshaun Watson. It's another example. Deshaun Watson's not a good quarterback. He should not be a quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. He should not be leading that team. Some people are more ready than others, and age and experience is not the only determining factor, but is a determining factor. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel, @Josh Hennig. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. I'll be back tomorrow. I missed it again. I'll be back tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN FM for game night, as well as right here on my YouTube channel, @Josh Hennig. Have a great night, everybody.